and welcome to Lakewood Next Daily Devotions. In the last section that we talked about in the book of Matthew, Jesus said, "Come to me, and I will give you rest, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." And so in this week's text, it's going to focus a lot on this one idea. It's Sabbath. And the one who supplies the weary and burdened with rest now is going to challenge the way the Pharisees had turned the Sabbath, the day of rest, into a legalistic burden on the people. But before we really get into the text, today I just wanted to spend some time talking about the idea of Sabbath. See, Sabbath was considered one of the fundamental expressions of covenantal faithfulness in the Jewish community. In fact, it had become one of the identifying markers between Jews and Gentiles. You really only had three. There was the dietary laws, circumcision, and Sabbath. And the Old Testament really only gives four stipulations or regulations when it comes to Sabbath. It says that you cannot have any fires in your dwellings, that there's no plowing or harvesting, you cannot carry a heavy load, and there's no excessive travel. That's the four stipulations to Sabbath. But since the Sabbath, since its observance was so bound up in the identity of the people, legal experts then sought to stipulate the precise terms that constituted a violation of the Sabbath. And so they broke these four rules that God gave them into 39 different categories of work. And each of those categories had subsections so that people would know all the ways that they could break the Sabbath. But in doing this, they turned the Sabbath into something that it was never intended to be. Instead of a day of rest, a gift of God, it became a day of minding your P's and Q's so that you wouldn't offend God. Now, personally, I like lists. If you were to come into my office, you would see a notebook with a little checklist of things so I can make sure I'm getting everything done and I can see how much I have left to do. It's one way that I prove to myself that, yes, I had a productive day. And it kind of lets me know where I stand in regards to what's left to do. I like lists. I like instructions. I like step-by-step things. On our way back from New Mexico a couple weeks ago, we stopped at IKEA to get some dining room chairs, and we brought those things home. And I don't know if you've ever bought anything from IKEA, but the instructions are not always user-friendly. And I found myself at times just saying, man, I just wish they'd just give me like, hey, step one, shows what you do. And it wasn't horrible, but I like steps. I like the idea of a list when it comes to my relationship with God. It lets me know where I stand. I want those step-by-step instructions. But that's hard. Because I want to know that I'm growing closer to God. I want to know how good I'm doing and that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. But that's not really how relationships work. I've been married to my wife now for 18 years. And she's yet to give me a list of, here's all the things you can do to let me know that you love me and that I love you and let you know where we stand together as a couple. And that on some levels might be a little helpful. But what happens when I mess up the list? What happens when I don't do it as well as I should, or I don't meet all of the qualifications? But now let's think about handling that list with God. The fear of when I don't get it right. And that's the point of this, is that that's not the soil in which good relationship grows. It can't be a list of do's and don'ts and all these other things. That's not relationship. A relationship with God is not something we accomplish. It's something we rest in. And so God created this day, this Sabbath day, specifically so that we can put down our works and rest in His love. And so, maybe as we step on this journey talking about Sabbath for the next couple of days, maybe instead of trying harder, instead take time to rest in Him. to trust in His love, and to simply be with God. Be blessed today.